Nigeria's capital market is once again under the spotlight as the Securities and Exchange Commission set to convene its first quarter capital market committee meeting, a critical platform for regulators and stakeholders to evaluate progress, identify challenges, and chart new directions for market development. Well, joining us to unpack this and what to expect, we have Mr. Bola Jamale, the Executive Commissioner, Operations, Securities and Exchange Commission, Nigeria. Great to have you on the show, sir. Good morning.
Morning, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. So I guess it's that time again where all market participants gather to hear, what to expect, for the markets this year. What should we be looking at? What's on the front burner for this meeting?
Good. Well, two major things are on the front burner. The first, obviously, is the release of the ISA, the Investment and Securities Act, which we're really happy about. That's going to change the scope of the capital market, the direction of the market. It would expand our abilities as a regulator, and it also sets some direction for the players as well. That's one of the major things. The second major thing that's going to be happening is looking at the closure of the Capital Market Master Plan, which was set 10 years ago. This is the 10th year of that master plan. We're coming to an end of that. And so we'll be looking at what's going to happen next after, by the time we close, how far we've gone with it in implementing the objectives of that master plan and what's going to happen in the future. So those are two major things that are going to happen. Others would be setting some terms and conditions for operating in various other aspects of the market.
All right, talking about the ISA 2025, how would it enhance Nigeria's capital market, regulatory framework? And what would you say are the key changes, investors should or are seeing right now or should expect to see?
Okay, well, one of the first things is that it reaffirms the fact that the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, is the overall regulator of all capital market activity. Now, it then defines what capital market activity is, which is the invitation of the public to come in and invest. It gives regulatory powers and it gives enforcement powers to the SEC to the extent that we can now prosecute, and we actually have started acting to prosecute some players, illegal players. It defines virtual assets and digital assets as coming under the purview of the SEC as well. And so that area will be receiving SEC direct regulation, and we're actually inviting people under it to come in and register. It defines the fact that those who are not registered, who are running platforms, digital platforms, it defines as well that those ones are actually, it allows us to define that those are actually illegal operators in the market. So it sets a lot of clarity into the digital space. It also brings derivatives into purview. It brings commodities under our purview. So there's a lot of things that are now brought under control of the SEC. The whole idea being that we want an organized market and we want legitimate registered operators to run the capital market activities in Nigeria.
And talking about clarity with digital currencies, there's always been that argument about, Bitcoin, being a security or not a security. We've seen, in the with other countries, it's not been easy to classify Bitcoin as a security, and we've seen arguments even here that the ISA, classifies Bitcoin as a security, and that shouldn't be. What do you think about that?
Okay, so it depends on the purpose. If you use it for a payment method, then it is not a security. But if you're buying into it for future, and essentially a security is something you're putting your money into in the hope that you're going to get a return sometime, a growth towards the future. So if that's your purpose, then it is being treated as security. But if you're using it as a means of payment for a transaction or as a means to an end of payment, then it is not a security, it's actually a currency.
So I guess...
So, of course, the discussion still continues, and the purpose.
So it has more than one classification.
Correct. So we are now operating on the security side, that if it is used as an investment, it comes under our purview.
All right. So, talking about securities and some, definitely the scams are still, with us at this time. What strategies will the SEC and capital market stakeholders implement to boost, retail investor, protection? Because, most of the time you see some of these hard to resist platforms. They promise you incredible profit. You end up losing, the money that you actually have.
So the best protection for any investor or for anyone against anything is knowledge, is understanding of what you're looking at. If you don't understand what you're looking at or you have no knowledge of it, then you're probably best advised to investigate it and see what it is. Unfortunately, those offers and those tantalizing offers that come, they're so attractive sometimes that people get into them. For us at the SEC, we consistently tell people to first of all check under every single document that is written, that is approved by the SEC. You will see an advice saying, check with your financial advisor. Unfortunately, a lot of the time, the financial advisor, in the case of these digital assets that are being sold, unfortunately, a lot of them are setting out to actually scam you. Now, that then comes to another point, which is the fact that people tend to look at opportunities, and once they see 100% return, they forget that checking. They forget that due diligence, which is necessary. And so we as SEC are continuing to spread the word. We are, at this CMC, for example, going to charge operators to get in touch with their contact points. Now, the SEC has contact points with operators because we're a regulator, but all the operators in the market do have contacts with their clients. And so they will actually educate their clients, and hopefully the word will spread from there. The SEC has been in touch with the National Broadcasting Commission to the extent that if any broadcasting organization, be it a radio or television station, if they are involved in promoting some of these illegal operations, they will be found liable, and that comes under the regulation, that comes under this ISA as well. If you're spreading false information about investment opportunities or you're spreading scam opportunities, then you fall under the enforcement of SEC. And so, again, we're trying to shut down those who are coming in, and we're also trying to enforce against them, and at the same time, we're trying to educate the investors. We physically have been to a couple of sites where we have large groups of people. We consistently appear at conferences or anywhere where we have groups of people. We have engaged with religious organizations at the highest level, and hopefully it will spread downwards. And so we'll continue to try and get across to every single Nigerian. Some of the other things that we have done, we started talking to state governments, to municipalities, all 774 of them, to make sure that they to encourage them to spread the word among their citizens as well. So we will continue to reach out. Something else we have done is we've created a watch list on the SEC website. And so if you go to the watch list, you can see those who we have classified as illegal operators, and you'll also see those who have actually passed the test of the SEC, and we believe that their instruments are fit for public investment.
So is it possible for maybe a platform to comply with the SEC rules and, operate, under those rules, but at the same time morph into some kind of scam platform and claim that they're registered under the SEC?
So, yes, it is. But part of our rules say once you're registered as an operator, then one of your first duties is to report to the SEC on anything you're doing. So once you want to start up a new product, you will register that new product with the SEC. And if we believe that that product is not fit for the market, we will tell you not to. Now, again, you're required as a registered operator to regularly file in your returns. If we see returns that are that we cannot attach to what you had been doing originally or to what we have approved, for you to do, then again, it has cause for investigation. We have a very strong monitoring and investigation procedure, and as a result, we will be able to find out. Now, is it possible for people to attempt to do that? Yes, it is possible to attempt, but we don't see too many cases of that. It's only once in a while we see that deviation into some products that we believe are not fit, and that's shut down. We have a very, very strong cease and desist procedure as well. So it is possible for people to be tempted, but it is likely that SEC will find out very quickly.
Right, and you shut them down immediately. All right, let's look at other matters now. You know, we keep, talking about attracting, foreign investment. Will the SEC introduce new policies, to attract foreign portfolio investment, even though we're seeing current economic challenges?
So, our attitude to foreign portfolio investments is rather interesting. Portfolio investments tend to be they move very quickly, both in and out. What we are more focused on, as opposed to where the investment is coming from, is building a stable market. Once you have a stable market, then investments come in from all directions. We will not be directly creating rules and procedures to favor foreign investors in any way. What we'll be trying to do is trying to bring clarity to the market, to make it an easy market to get into and get out of, a reliable market as well. So we're building the structures as opposed to targeting particular groups of investors.
All right, so how would you say, right now the Nigerian capital market is adapting, to global trends we're seeing with Fintech, digital assets and sustainable finance?
Very well. What we have seen, okay, I'll start from the top level. At the SEC, for example, we have established regulatory incubation for both those who are operating in new projects and those who are operating in old projects that are traditional projects that are digitalizing. We've set up regulatory incubation platforms for them. They're registering. We have about 70 or so applicants, and we have about 13 who are already in incubation. Now, what that does is it already opens up the market to a lot of the fintech and innovative means of raising capital. We again have quite a few digital crowdfunding platforms that have started as well. So that is what that does is it opens up the retail end of the market and the fintech end of the market to both local and international players. On the sustainability side, we're currently in Doha, and we're actually joining the International Committee on Sustainable Exchanges. So we are working quite a lot in that direction.
All right, so definitely there's also that issue about market manipulation and insider trading. Are you seeing any improvement on that front, or are there plans to, squash it?
Well, always, it's highly advisable to squash it each time you see it. What we're doing in that regard, as technology, again, a lot is going to depend on technology and the tools you're employing. We are going to deploy hopefully in a very short period. In the next couple of months, we should be deploying a SupTech supervisory technology that would allow us to actually interrogate transactions that are happening on the markets. We've got, as you know, we've got about 6 markets that are operating in the country, so that are fully operating. So we'd have a technology that would be able to see the real-time, minute-by-minute transactions on each of those markets and relate them as well, so we can actually see market manipulation and track those kind of things. In addition, remember we have the clearing systems in place already, and central counterparties as well, who also have a lot of data and a lot of information, and they send that information to us on a regular basis.
All right, definitely so much to unpack there. We do look forward to this first meeting. That's for 2025. Thank you so much for helping us unpack this. Mr. Bola Jamale is the Executive Commissioner for Operations at the Securities and Exchange Commission, Nigeria. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.